pull up this hardwood, you know, there's these big, long, that's the subfloor, and this old hardwood is laying on top of that, and I need that out here to fix spaces. So I'm gonna rip it out now. So that all came out pretty good. Weird looking subfloor, that's for sure. There's boards that are all wavy. I guess it was a back porch. And the whole floor does this. It's kind of crowning in the middle. So there's a beam there and a beam there. And then they've notched a beam here for plumbing. You know, and this is all over the dining room. So there's a drop ceiling below this. It's very stable. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just, we're going to have to put plywood down to get it level so we can tile on top of it. Hopefully I can salvage some of this wood to patch up spots, because we definitely don't need it in here. What's crazy is that was not the original floor. Like, there's another floor. It looks like this one was laid on top of. Just bizarre. Because this was all on top of that. I don't know. Wild. Pulled the hardwood today, and now I'm ripping apart bedrooms. So he's gonna work on these floors. And these are pine, old, original pine with carpet pad and paint splatters. So we're gonna try to sand them down. They're not gonna be perfect, and that's exactly what we want. We're gonna try to fix stuff like that. We're either gonna nail them down or in places like this where we might need another board. I don't know what that is, but if we need other boards, that's what those are for, I'm hoping. So we're salvaging those from the bathroom, and hopefully we can use those to fix any problems that are in here. It can't look worse than it does now. This is a mess. This is the worst room in the whole house. It's got tons of carpet, padding. The others aren't quite this bad. And bedroom number 2. These aren't in as bad a shape. And honestly, if there were no paint splotches on there, we would honestly just leave these floors exactly the way they are, with the paint kind of rubbed off, no paint in the middle. But since we're having to get the paint blobs up, we're gonna sand them down. That's where they put there was a gas lantern in our bedroom, like a real gas, and they pulled that out to run electricity to the gas lantern at some point, and then just tinned over it. So hopefully we can get that patched up, but if not, it's under a rug. I'm gonna pull up, there's some, this is almost like asphalt sheathing in front of the fireplace, so we'll take that up as well. Those tile are obviously not original. And we're living here during all this, so I've got to move all the bathroom stuff back into the bathroom that's down there. It's gutted right now, but I'll just store that in there. That way he can restore these floors. And then once those 2 bedrooms are done, we'll clean this bedroom out. So we've got all the mattresses and stuff for all the beds in here. And we'll move all this back in there, and then he'll sand these floors down. These floors are painted. These is going to be a nightmare to get sanded, but he thinks it'll look good. I do too. I'm worried that there's going to be paint down in between the boards, and we'll have to figure out what to do with that. We'll probably just, it's white paint or off-white, so we may have to drop some other type of paint down in there to kind of make it blend a little better, but that'll be a project. We are not trying to get these to be perfect. We just want them to look better and finished. And we definitely want to keep this whole second floor basically is all yellow pine, old pine floors. And we're just gonna hopefully have them looking nice. He thinks he can make them look good, and I believe him. We'll fix spots like that. There's a couple of spots like that. It's not terrible. This floor is in pretty good shape in here. That's really the only spot, that and that. Otherwise, this floor is in really good shape. He's going to have to sink. You can see some screws where they've screwed the floor down. He's going to try to sink those down so he didn't hit them while he's sanding. But there's only that one row of those in this room. And we've already pulled all the staples. When we moved the carpet, we pulled the staples. Oh, there's some more. So there's spots where it's drilled into the joist below, but generally not in bad shape. All right, the end of day one. 3 sands on this room. And all these places where the floor was messed up are now good to go. It's all tight. Much better. And then the second room they worked on today, he did 4 sands in here because there was all that carpet adhesive. And he did 4 different sandings on this. Same thing. Tighten the floor up. That was all real loose. That's going to be very pretty when it's all done. House is just covered in dust. We're trying to keep all the dust out of everything, but it's just impossible. When you're doing drywall and flooring at the same time, you can just see there's a film of dust on everything. So we usually just, as it works through the week, we just let it get dusty, and then I'll spend all weekend cleaning up dust. This floor is really bad up here, but floor guys are ready to go again today, so they'll pick up where they left off. I think he's going to try to put 2 coats. I think he's going to try to get a coat on here, and then he'll do another coat after the first coat dries. And then we got Molly's room pretty much cleaned out, and we were able to get everything put into the office and the closet pretty much. So just got to get this rug up, and then this floor is going to be probably a bear. There's not really repairs to do to it, but there's a lot of paint on it. So maybe it'll come up easy. It would have been a lot easier. I've banned Emily from saying this because it's not what we signed up for. It would have been a lot easier to do all this before we moved in and not live in it. Look at all that dust. But that's not how you do it. So at one point I had to ban Emily from ever saying those words again. We're just living in it now, just having the time of our life, allegedly. So the first coat on 2 rooms upstairs is in. And they put this up to kind of keep the fumes upstairs because it's oil-based. And we can smell it a little bit down here. But I've got this open where the vents are sucking air from down here instead of up there. So it's all right. And we're staying in the back part of the house. One of the advantages of having a big old house is, 1, you can get far away from the fumes, and 2, everything's going through the roof of the house anyway. Heat and everything. All right, our master bedroom is cleared out, ready for floor refinishing to start tomorrow. I actually like these floors. They're red-ish, brown red around the side, kind of dark in the middle, but they're all mucked up, so we're gonna sand them down and make them new. Used to be a fireplace right here. There's no fireplace anymore. Maybe one day we'll put a fireplace back in there. I think we will. That's a project for another day. The boys are back. Joseph just pulled in. Jose's out here. They're ready to go. Day 4, day 3, day 4. I don't know. Seems like longer than it is.
Dry it out quick.
Looks good.
It got hot in that room.
All right, first sand. It's done. Floors look different down here than what was upstairs. This is definitely pine. Looks really good. That's gonna look really nice. Up against the oak, because we're leaving the oak. So this is the only room downstairs that did not have kind of oak flooring added on top. And we're leaving all that and just refinishing it to get it all, looks like it was chopped in over time. So we're gonna refinish that. It's called Special Walnut, but that's gonna look good. And then we're just leaving this kind of natural with basically just a clear finish. It's gonna look really good. These down here are not as yellowy as they are upstairs. The ones upstairs are pretty interesting. So it's got worm. It's been worms in there. Kind of up in this corner. Probably had moisture coming in at some point. But we've got the bottom of the house all buttoned up at this point, so that should be rectified. Pretty darn happy. It's gonna be nice. All right, the first coat is on. And man, did the house stink last night. We stayed here, but it was pretty chemically for a while. It finally died off about the time we went to sleep. Otherwise, we were gonna have to go stay somewhere else. But we made it. We survived. Probably last night was the worst night because 3 rooms had the oil base on it. The 2 rooms upstairs had a second coat, and this one had the first coat. I think he'll second coat this one today. It's Saturday, and he's gonna sand the upstairs. So I jammed all the bathroom stuff back into the bathroom. It was all out in the hallway, but he's gonna have to sand the hallway. I don't know if he'll do that today, but today he is gonna sand this room. Get all this cleared out, finished. We just gotta get the rug out and we're ready to roll. Put a second coat on the downstairs today. It's oil based and it's horrible smelling. But it's heated up a little today. It's 40 degrees outside. So I've got a couple of windows here and here that are kind of letting cold air in the house. And then I'm trying to just funnel it through. I've got 2 windows upstairs open as well. So I'm trying to suck all the air up through the house. The heat is holding its own. It's 68 degrees. It has not turned off. I've got it set on 70, so I'm surprised it's able to keep up. So, but it's working. The fumes have started to die down. He did it a couple hours ago, and they've already died down pretty good. So I'm gonna wait for the temperature to drop. I got about 30 more minutes, and it's gonna start dropping. So I'll close everything up then. By then, we should be fume-free. So I've got that window open. I've got the bathroom window open. He did this one today, which was a little harder than he thought it was going to be. He had to dig down more. But I'm pretty happy. This room was painted, and I was afraid we were going to have paint, leftover paint, show up. And there's not really leftover paint showing up, so that's good. There's some spots that look like they've tried to fill in, but it doesn't look like paint. So that's going to clean up pretty good. So this room should look pretty much like the other rooms. So let's go look at the other rooms, because these rooms are totally done. We're not putting anything back in here yet, but I'm really just gonna let them cure up for a few more days before we start putting stuff back in here. But these had a final coat yesterday. So they've had 2 coats of oil base, and they look really good. So this is the front bedroom, and then this back bedroom. These were the worst floors in the place. They were just terrible looking, and in the worst shape. So they fixed everything, kind of got everything put back down where it's safe and stable, and then they got them looking pretty darn good. Pretty darn happy with the way it all turned out. Upstairs is almost done. He's totally sanded it down. These 2 rooms have already been done. They've had 2 coats. We just put the first coat in this hallway and in that bedroom in there. I can't walk over there. And then I'm standing on the top step, which is we're leaving it because these steps have got to be redone. And we're not messing with that yet, because that is the top tread and probably a different kind of wood. And what's really weird is, so he had to patch, there was a burn spot right there, and we had some old pine from the bathroom that we were using to patch spots, and he used that there. So we've got a little pine patch right in the middle. And then this back porch, this used to be a back porch, we think, and there's pine there, which is different than, we think this is Douglas fir, which is kind of weird for this area. It was unexpected. It's definitely not pine, because that's pine. And you can see them literally right next to each other, and they're not the same. So he thinks this is vertical grain Douglas fir. And I don't know. I don't know enough about it. I just know it's kind of yellow and green and brown. It's all kind of different colors, which I kind of like. But definitely totally different than just the regular oak pine, which is downstairs. The whole bottom floor is probably that, and then they've laid oak over the top, but our bedroom is that downstairs. But he said all this was a bear to get it all sanded down and ready to go, because he had to go in these steps, and we didn't pull the spindles. He just kind of went in there and hand did it, I think. So it was a lot. But easy sailing now, because now we're going downstairs to do red oak. The rest of it's just red oak and should be pretty easy. Painting the quarter rail for the upstairs trim, because we don't want to leave it this color, and we don't want to stain it, because that doesn't look good. The stain doesn't look good. Doesn't match the floors. So we've got a little shop set up for Emily, and she's going to go paint. How you feel about this?
It feels better down here than it does outside.
Yep. It's our first project in our little workshop. It's not a very good workshop yet. It will be. She's almost done priming. Hi. 1 hour, 24 minutes. It's a lot of trim. There's going to be a lot left over. We'll be able to use this throughout the whole upstairs. One more coat and then we're done with our homework.